So it was my first year teaching here. At the time I was only teaching photography, and my husband, my dad, and my brother and I were all training pretty heavily in karate at that time. And the high school always does performance and exhibitions on a couple Fridays a month, and we had someone cancel on that Monday of the performance, so there wasn't anything to fill. So I went to the principal, and she knew that I had done karate, and we were kind of talking, and she goes, well, maybe you could do this. And I was like, we could totally do that. So we had about a week to pull together a performance and exhibition, and so my brother wasn't able to make it that day, so me, my dad, and my husband did a performance and exhibition for the school. It went over really, really well. The kids got really excited. We saved some time for some question and answer afterwards. They had lots of really good questions, and a couple kids even were like, hey, will you teach us? Let's do something here. So then that's kind of how it segued into it. But it went over really well. I got asked questions for weeks after that. So when we kind of were talking about maybe doing something here at the high school, at the time I was working multiple jobs, and some kids had expressed an interest, and it was like, well, let's do something. But doing an after-school program wasn't really feasible in our schedules. So we kind of talked about it, and then I went to Dr. Rowan and asked her if it would be possible to actually run it as a class. And we kind of kicked around the idea of, well, do we make it a PE credit? Do we make it an art credit? And when I was talking with her, it was like, well, this has never really been just physical exercise for me. And kind of talking about what karate means to me and my family, we felt like it needed to be an art credit and not a PE credit. We started looking at, okay, well, what do we need to do to get this approved with the school board, and how are we going to practically implement this? So we kind of started looking around to see if any other school had done anything like this, and when we couldn't find anything, we just kind of started creating it ourselves. We got basically a liability release that says, hey, we realize that if my child participates in this class, that it's a physical activity. There is physical contact outside of just a normal PE class or even a normal sport. They're going to physically be hitting each other. And we came up with a really good liability release. Once the immediate administration was like, all right, this looks good, we're on board. The next school board meeting I went to, and I presented the idea to the school board and gave them my liability release, told them what we wanted to do, why we wanted to do it. And then they had to vote on it, which I actually wasn't present for. So after I gave my presentation, I left, and then I had to wait the next day to find out what they decided. So it was really, really well received. Everyone on the board liked the idea, and it was voted unanimously to start the program. We currently are involved in quite a few circuits. Locally, we compete in the Oklahoma Karate Association, which is just in Oklahoma. It averages 10 tournaments a year and does a point ranking system where they award a state champion, so we're involved in that. On a more national level, we're involved with the World Karate Association and the North American Sport Karate Association, WKA and NASCA for short. And we go to compete in those. We haven't done any ranking with them as of yet. We've just gone and competed in their circuits. And then we even are also involved in the ABKA, which stands for American Bushido-Kai Karate Association. Although we don't go to as many of those, we still attend some of their tournaments as well. And we've even gone to a couple WKF tournaments. So last year, we had 5 students get accepted onto, we actually had more students that qualified, but only 5 were able to go to Italy to compete as part of Team USA at the Unified World Championships, which until 2020, when karate is back in the Olympics, and we don't know if it'll continue to stay in the Olympics, karate hasn't really had any type of Olympic showing. So every year, all of the different acronymed associations get together and they have one tournament that they consider their world championship. So we had some students and then myself and Mr. Allman go and compete at that tournament in Italy. It was really awesome. It was incredibly exhausting. We competed from sunup to sundown about 4 days. So we're looking at 12, 14-hour days where you're doing katas over and over and over and over, and then you're fighting over and over and over again. It was really, really awesome. We're going to go to Spain with the team again this year because the tournament location rotates every couple of years. And I believe we're going to have some students that we'll take as part of Team USA again and go to Spain instead of Italy. So that'll be fun.